problem with that whatsoever. They're trying to get bigger and bigger.
I just really want to see firsthand how IXL goes up against some of these premier teams, or like these semi-professional teams that are in the North American scene, and just really create more of a staple name for ourselves. It'd be amazing to see.
Indeed, man. Well, we've got the first two teams, or the two players from the two teams here. This is going to be an Akalon Waste. It looks like it's going to be a PvZ. This is an interesting map for gateway techniques. It's very, very wide, and there's a lot of places to hide pylons. So we could see some kind of proxy that's a lot rarer, but I'd like to see like a 4-gate, 5-gate, something like that. No matter what, I can almost guarantee you this is going to be a gateway first build, though. Unless he does something like he did, like, you know, Forge on the high ground into a cannon rush proxy. I don't even know how to describe that.
It was pretty cool.
I was casting from Tebow's vision and the mini-map and just assumed gateway. Wow. But it was interesting because it provided this dynamic of what, you know, the Zerg player should have been thinking based on the information he was receiving. The only thing is he wasn't receiving the proper information. It's like back in World War II when America was sending two different kinds of telegrams. One for the Germans to intercept on, like, relaying false disinformation, and then one that was in the ancient Indian Navajo language, which no one knew because it was a North American thing. Like, no one else, you know, ever learned Native American tongue. So it was an unbreakable code. So they were telling the Nazis, oh, we're going to be here in English. And the Nazis are like preparing. And then, no, the beaches of Normandy, bro. Beaches of Normandy.
It was a trap.
Indeed. Well, here on the top left-hand side of Akalon Waste, we have the red Zergy McFerguson representing Clarity Gaming, who so far in the series have really showed some strong games. It's Bop! And here on the bottom right-hand side, representing XTraterrestrials, he was the initial abductee on Roswell. It is the Cowman!
Who's decided to graciously pause the game for our presence. Okay, never mind, he's ready. We're going to kick into this.
We needed a regal moment for the holy cow. That was for all the Hindus in the audience.
Alright, so we're going to have another PvZ going on between these two Titan clans fighting for the top spots. You said CGAcademy currently looking at rank 1, or is that XTraterrestrials? Someone is fighting for rank 1.
CGAcademy is rank 1 with 20 points, where XTraterrestrials is rank 2 with 16. Ooh. Currently, with the current score, I believe it's 2-1 Clarity Gaming Academy's favor. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, that will make the total score 22-17. So even if XTraterrestrials can come back and win this, how many games will Clarity Gaming be able to get off of them before that happens? Because Clarity Gaming is guaranteed first place at the end of this night, simply because they took a single game off XTraterrestrials. They could throw the entire rest of the clan war and still have first place. They're not going to do that. They want the win, I'm sure, but XTraterrestrials has a lot more to lose than Clarity Gaming right now.
Like you said, man, we got a fast gateway going out here with the side. We've got a fast gas as well. And we do see a drone scout coming out here for Bop, who's trying to confirm whether... Oh, whoa, okay, no. Hatchery first, or you reckon he's going to get the cancellation and put an evolution chamber there?
Oh, he's absolutely going to leave that there. Here's what's going on. Like, creep spread. It takes forever for that shit to disappear, especially from a hatchery. He could leave the evolution chamber there, but evolution chamber is something you would do against Forge first, when you know this is going to immediately die. How long does it take one zealot to kill one hatchery?
Very long time.
That's why it's never going to happen. It's going to force the Protoss to completely delay his own base, get more units out before the Nexus than he wants, and basically force Cowman into a timing attack. Which means Bop is probably planning to do some kind of aggressive strategy of his own, because think about this. If Orange decides to just attack, he could kill off Bop. If Bop does not have a significant army. In fact, we see a pylon, looks like it's going to be a proxy pylon, but it's never going to happen.
Well,
what's going to happen now is this creep spread is going to take forever to clear as well. Even when he kills his hatchery, the creep spread's also going to have to be wait to be dissipated. So we basically have a tech switch now for Cowman. He's going straight into a Stargate, and he's going to have to prepare for this mid-game because his economy has been wrecked. It's going to have to be a tech advantage. There's really 3 kinds of advantage you can get in StarCraft: economy, technology, or army. Economy was just taken off the board. So Bop is really controlling the pace of this game. That's why I like moves like this. This is not cost efficient for Bop. This is not, epic sauce, high level go-to play. This is, I'm gonna control the board and sacrifice my economy to do such. So both of these players have lost economy. I feel like Protoss has lost more though.
Yeah, there's massive stagnation between his mining time and now, but he's leaving himself prone and vulnerable to this tech switch, and these fast void rays could definitely get out here and cancel things like the third base we see going out from Bop, who is just donating hatcheries and building them like he doesn't care. Like, we haven't seen any more than 2 offensive units being produced out of Bop at all. The rest has just been queens and drones, and just offensive hatcheries, you might call them. Now, yeah, this creep spread's going to take so long to clean up, and I'm not too sure how long this is going to take, but we've got Bop here trying to work it away as fast as possible. Meanwhile, we've got a Cowman working this away as fast as possible. Meanwhile, Bop, just so many drones. Currently looking at, 28 versus 28, so there's an even harvest account for both players right now, but you can see Cowman is definitely oversaturated. Oh, you're going to take a fast third Nexus. Interesting.
Absolutely. This is basically just a faster third to compensate for the slower natural. This is technically his natural at this point. Wow, this is awesome sauce here from both teams, but I feel like this third half.
I'm thinking Cowman's going to just try and take a fast 3 base. I imagine there's going to be a Nexus going down when this creep spread dissipates, and he's just going to use this Void Ray to kind of do a little bit of meaningless control and do some poking against Bop. Because there's no more aggression coming out anymore, but Bop sees this base. He sees this potential third Nexus, even though it is now classified as his natural, and this could prompt him to go for a more aggressive style. He's got these 2 queens out there pushing away the Void Rays, the third base relatively untouched here. But
this is actually a huge, like the white circle with red marks surrounding it, target bullseye kind of thing?
Yeah.
That's exactly what this third base is. Because this is a much harder position to hold compared to the natural. You can't wall off as easily. Now, he's completely walled off that particular position, but he has to have army in the natural and army in the third to defend both the main, the natural, and the third. There's a lot of spreading out of the Protoss units here. So what we're going to see from the Zerg now is this Hydra Ling composition we saw last game, because this is very mobile once you have the Roach speed, or I'm sorry, not Roach speed, Hydra speed, and you can basically swing from, you can park yourself here, swing here, and the Protoss will have to use this engagement point to shuffle his units back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You're in a much better position as a Zerg player here.
Alright, even the probe's getting in there and doing some damage, but the third Nexus roughly about 2/4 the way there. It's looking to finish out. We see muscular augments +1 missile attacks being researched. Zerg's now currently going up to 5 gases, so this is really, really strong to power ahead. We do see Speedlings, or Speed, is finished for his Zerglings. He's pushing creep now with 1 dedicated queen here, and there's a small Protoss fleet flying around the map, and this is pretty much probably either to poke, aggressively scout, and maybe clear up any stray units you can find. Things like a queen that's out of position could get a nice time warp, focus fire it down with the 2 Void Rays and the added power of the Mothership Core, or go push aggressively inside of Bop's base and then recall if anything was to happen. Meanwhile... Yes,
indeedy, Pooh. really, where do you think that the Protoss goes from here? I mean, he's on 3 bases. He's got this Void Ray build, which is completely unorthodox, yet we've seen it 2 games in a row now. Where does the Protoss go from here? He's got these 3 bases. He's got it. It almost feels like he has to be defensive. He's got 2 more Stargates on the way. He's going for this complete tech advantage. Twilight Council. I mean, is this... I hate to say it, but is this going to be carriers?
Oh, it could work out that way if we get a fleet beacon going. 2 extra Stargates just generally means you can build more Void Rays, and with the Twilight Council going down, I imagine this will be the transition into Templar, and then a bit of a build up of the gateways. We see gases 5 and 6 going down here for Cowman, so he's looking to take this to the macro game. Meanwhile, Bob also now taking a 4th base, continuing to spread creep. So what started out to be a super aggressive game with the proxy hatchery styles just allowed Bob to really throw Cowman off, and he's just taking it now to the macro game, which we all know a lot of Zergs hate, but the Zergs that can get out the swarm host and put down the pressure love. So it's this weird little mix that seems to be going on.
I actually love late game EVP. I hear a lot of Zergs complaining about it, but basically late game's EVP devolves into a mid game. You have to basically defend your economic position. In mid game you have to defend some kind of gateway timing usually. And you will eventually just be able to flood out Mutalisk because your opponent's too spread out, which I really, really enjoy. You just kind of have to get to that point. Like you said, though, Swarm Host also a really viable option, especially doing like a Swarm Host Hydra kind of style that switches into a Hydra Ultralisk style, back and forth, really that Cats mentality. That's a really powerful style right now. So I guess it's to each their own. We'll find out if Bop is comfortable there. He's already switching into Corruptors, though, which I find to be a very interesting decision. It's going to do well against, like, Phoenix and stuff like that, but we're not having Phoenix right now. We have Void Rays. Now, it's interesting because Cowman is supply block and is making 6 pylons. They're about to finish up now. But there's just one thing I really want to say right now about Extraterrestrials Cowman. No!
Oh, I want to see... Sorry. Quick little cough there. I want to see what Bop wants to do with this. He's got a sizable army. The transition now would obviously be go to the Hive. His infestation's finished up. He's getting his upgrades. +1 melee attacks, +1 carapace. So that's really, really good for him as well. So that's going to aid to his Zerglings, give them more DPS, make them more durable, things like that. The Corruptors are there to kind of ward away. The Phoenix is also a bit of a dealer to the Corruptors, but the general transition we'll see is probably to go to the Hive Tech, get the Vipers out, continue on with the upgrades as it goes to the 3-3. But we're not seeing the faster base coming out from Bob, which is making me interested to see whether or not he wants to get an engagement. Meanwhile, there's a 4th base going down for Cowman.
I'm sticking by my guns, man. I feel like Cowman is using this High Templar build as a transition towards basically a safety net so that he can eventually get out carriers. That's my bet. I'm sticking to it, man. $100 on the table right now.
We could even see him all in right now off of 3 base. Will be super, super aggressive. There's like a ton of gateways going down, 6 in total. He's going to start working his way down in his rock tower, which could be really nice. I'd like to see it fall down on the gateways and just do the extra damage, but I don't know, with the Hive finishing up, we still got at least 2 minutes before Hive units are really going to be out in the field. Obviously the Vipers are going to be a little bit more different. Unfortunately for Bop, they don't come with that extra energy that they're looking to grant them, kind of like full energy Vipers already. But we do finally now see a 5th base being produced here in the top right hand position, which is really nice. But
the Great Wall has been built by China. Or is being built, rather. Spine Crawlers going down. The thing is, Spine Crawlers do amazing against Void Rays. They're like giraffes. They reach up and touch everything. No, they do not.
Big
they need
storms.
Spore Crawlers.
Yeah, well,
Excellent.
Cowman just taking a massively favourable engagement. Huge storms going down. So many Void Rays still left with tons of energy, and this High Templar still have storms left in them, and with some good force fields, he just cleaned up all of the Zerg units right there. That was a huge engagement for him, and it looks like he's just going to start pressuring himself out into the map with a Robo following up.
And this is why a Great Wall is useful, because at some point as Zerg you have to trade off your army like that, but it's reinforcing that becomes difficult then, because you need a position on the map that is defended with spine crawlers and spore crawlers, which it looks like Cowman is still going to attack into this. He's just being super careful to check for a 5th base. It's interesting, though, because it's on the other side of the map. I'm curious. I think Cowman will not actually attack into this spine spore wall, but ultimately, it's this kind of style that's going to have to be everywhere at different outposts on the map, spore spine locations, that the Hydralisks can... Basically, the spines are there to tank for the Hydralisks who just cannot soak damage. Now, we do have this engagement. Void Rays targeting down these spine crawlers very, very quickly. This is why he should have began with spore crawlers, because the main DPS of this army is in the Void Rays. The Void Rays are being targeted down. Now, there's a lot of Hydralisks, but there's just not enough energy there on that Viper. Hydralisks getting cleaned up. Spore crawlers doing a lot of damage, but the Void Rays are still left alive. There's small influxes of Hydralisks coming in. The defender's advantage really pulling its weight.
Void Rays back.
Running away.
Alright, so that actually turned out to be quite an even trade by both players, losing significant portions of their army, but what did Cowman achieve out of this? He got his 4th base, which allows him to continue to produce off of all the gateways that he's now supplied. He's got his 3 Stargates, so he can reproduce his Void Ray count. Meanwhile, a small counter-aggression coming out here for Bop, who, in my opinion, is looking to start getting quite starved if he doesn't continue to take bases. He's getting his +3 melee attacks, +3 weapons are halfway done here for the Protoss player, who's now transitioning into a War Prism, and I imagine this is where the aggression potential is going to start flipping on its head, and Bop's going to find himself in an awkward position from the beginning of this game, but this Roach Hydra army looking to swing in from the left-hand side. Might get a few probe kills, but then where does it go? It could be trapped between here and a hard place. It does look like the charged on Archon Void Ray army is looking to get it into a position of attack, and there's some Templars that are going to find themselves in a nice position to get some good storms off, but no! He actually leaves them unprotected! Oh, that was very, very unlucky there for Chowman. Good capitalization there from Bop, who's now creating a nice concave, and with the Templar deficit, it's going to take a little while before he has the energy to do as much storms as he needs to really power this through, but a lot of Zealots in this army now, and the War Prism.
Warp in here at the 5th base, but it is detected very quickly by Bop. Great map awareness there. He is going to chase that Warp Prism all the way home, and we actually have spines and spores going down now. It is super important to get spores up with these spines. Tell me, okay, he does have spore crawlers, because guess what? We've got a Dark Shrine a third of the way done. When behind, what do you do, Josh?
We always Dark Shrine, don't we? For 150, 150, it's pretty cheap these days. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Bop getting himself in an awkward position. There's a lot of units here and the big stack potential. Zealots, Archons, this Void Rays getting on top of everything. Huge storms going down here by Cowman, just cleaning up this Hydralisk army. And it looked like he lost almost nothing.
He basically did lose nothing. He lost a couple of buildings and, some higher end tech. Like, I think there was like a Templar or 2 that died there. But I wouldn't say that's a bad situation for... Oh, well, hold on. Hold that thought. I just found some Zealots killing the Spore Crawler wall. So that is a very bad situation. In fact, there's no reinforcement point here for Bop. Cowman can hit a timing attack here, which he is doing here at the 5th. And there's just not enough defense here. These drones are going to die if they're not pulled immediately. There's a lot going on here in the main of Bop as well. He is really getting pulled apart. He has shown really good map awareness, but there's just not enough static defense to help him here. There's creep spread really in front of his bases, but there's none connecting the main to the natural, and that is really hurting him here. There's no detection here for this DT either, so we've just got a really bad position here for Cowman, or for Bop. Cowman has completely pulled him apart on the back of, losing the Spore Spine wall. Again, the Great Wall of Spore and Spine has to be up, has to always be intact, or else you will get picked apart just like this.
Yeah, we're seeing a Mutila's transition here, so +3 flyer attacks almost finishing up, but without without this 5th base to kind of support the transition, I'm not sure how much damage Bob's going to get done with this, although there's no cannon defense, but the bank for the Protoss player is definitely accumulating, and he's got an army that can't be confronted yet from the Zerg player. He's even got an observer out. He's going to start cleaning out all if not all of these creep tumors. We're seeing a lot of spines now going down.
The gas at Bob's natural is actually almost completely mined out as well. He has 401, 600 in the other. That's going to be a grand total of 10 Mutalisks left, and then that base is going to be done. It's not mineral income that really matters here for Bob. It's going to be gas income if he's doing a Mutalisk build. He does want to get another base as soon as possible, but he can't afford both bases and Mutalisks. So he's got to choose between one, and right now he's making 7 Mutalisks at a time and a hell of a lot of Spine Crawlers. I think those Spine Crawlers are one beautiful idea. He has to deal with this Zealot Archon Void Ray composition. Void Ray's notoriously bad against Mutalisks. Archon's notoriously good against them. So he's going to have to get the perfect engagement with these Void Rays lagging behind. As they are now, he just has to keep picking this Protoss apart the same way the Protoss picked him apart. It's working for him, but how long will it work for? Because there's one great big sledgehammer wrecking ball attack that could happen. It looks like Cowman moving across creep to try to engage that attack, and it's going to be up to Bop now to delay the attack by making it too costly for the Protoss to do this attack. Now, Protoss not turning back. Looks like he's going to go ahead and hit the 4th now for Bop, which has a lot of gas still there to be sacrificed. So we actually have Bop now trying to engage this with the Roach Hydra army, but he knows he cannot win that. There's Swarm Hosts actually going down, but they're being targeted down now. Good Spore Spine Wall. Looks like he's going to be able to hold that off. Mutalisk coming in, but getting hit a little bit by the Storm. And Archons, there's a lot of Phoenix here as well. He's going to need Corruptors to deal with that. There's just not enough here for Bop. Cowman is going to take this. Oh my god.
Yeah, just one thing to really note really quickly, it was like, the moment he's seen a Mutalisk, there was 3 Phoenix in production, and now that the Phoenix numbers are like close to 10, I actually got 12 Phoenix on the field, there was nothing these Mutalisks were really going to achieve without an economy backing it, and there you go guys, Cowman takes it.
Oh my god. Oh my god. XT putting in the fight of their life. Now, I do want to give a little clarity because I think there's a little confusion about what I was saying about the clan war earlier. Okay, so the total number of wins, like, say, whoever takes this, they're both tied for 6. So whoever takes this is going to be rank 1. However, one victory in one clan war is enough to break the rankings. However, it's also a very slim margin because you never know. Say XTraterrestrials won this one. They're behind total in games, but they're rank 1. Say they lose their next clan war and Clarity Gaming Academy wins theirs. Then Clarity Gaming is going to be, in the lead. The number of games plays a huge factor in tie-breaking. And since this has been such a close neck-to-neck competition, that's what I'm looking at. Because it seems to be more indicative, to me at least, of the overall results of this war. Yes, you guys have been running back and forth, back and forth, back and forth of who's in the lead. But it's really a huge percentage of that has been the R column, as opposed to the W column. In case anyone's wondering what I'm talking about, our achievement, our ranking sheet is W, L, GW, GL, and R. R is your ranking as far as points go, like, you've won 24 games, lost 4, so you're at 20 score kind of idea. And that's the tiebreaker. That's all I was saying there, me. Well, anyways, we are moving into the administration side of things, guys. If you'll bear with us just a couple of moments, we're going to find out the next map and players for you guys. Please give any feedback to the casters that you think they could improve on. Yell at me for, saying carriers when there were no carriers. Take $100, PayPal, shaftplanet.com. Feel free to send it. All that good stuff. All that good stuff. Josh, my mind is blown here, dude. Like, game after game after epic-ass game.
Yeah, XT have definitely shown us that they want it, and Clarity Gaming, you know, as much as they want it, at the moment, it just doesn't feel like they're fighting hard enough for it, but, you know, that's a commentator speculation. Obviously, everyone wants it, but, you know, XT currently playing a pretty good performance right now. Like, they're taking it to the number one team, and they're showing them they've got what it takes.
Okay, Magoo sharing, I suppose, an extraterrestrial quote for us. He says, "Cheese comes from cows, bro." I get it. I get it. This is one epic ass cast, dude. I'm definitely gonna be uploading this to YouTube.
Yeah, what's that? Well, it was just really weird. We see it in the proxy hatchery, and I'm like, alright, yeah, I get it. You know, slow it down. It's really nice. But what are you really achieving here? You getting a big lead? And it really did feel like he was getting a massive lead. Like, there was no big follow-up. There was nothing to kind of capitalize on the lack of units that the Protoss player would have at that particular time, and then he kind of just macroed his way out of it by just getting that third up, going triple Stargate, and just building Void Rays and going into his Templar, and then he just took it to late game. And I think once the Zerg player had identified, like, okay, look, he's going for his third base, he can't attack me for a very long time. He should have just gone, alright, I'm just going to get my 4th and 5th up at the same time, and then I suppose it's a little bit hard with Void Rays running around the map, but he could have at least pushed creep a lot faster and got queens out everywhere. And I don't know, I reckon he could have got bases up earlier. He could have had the economy to support a swarm host based army while going for the Hydra Viper, going for, like, after getting his infestation pit. And I think the game could have been played out completely different.
I agree, man. I agree. We are talking about pizza in the chat channel. It is awesome. Oh my god. Some guys having lamb wild rice and coleslaw. I'm with you on the lamb wild rice, not the coleslaw. Actually, I can't eat lamb either, so.
No.
Against the religion.
Well, as a chef,
Damn
what is
toad ungulates?
As a chef, what was one of your favorite meals to prepare and cook? Or is there a difference between your favorite meal to prepare as opposed to the favorite meal to have cooked?
Favorite meal to prepare is Italian. Probably something like shrimp fra diavola or chicken marsala with mushrooms. Favorite meal to eat is sushi. And I can cook that as well, or prepare it rather, because you don't really cook that much. But I make an excellent roll. I actually take wow, sorry, I was just thinking shrimp fra diavola again. Chicken tempura with cream cheese, avocado, eel barbecue sauce. And what you'll do is lay the shrimp or the chicken in the roll itself. Roll that with the cream cheese inside of it, and you'll put the avocado over the rice on top. You have the rice on the outside, and you cut the avocado so that it'll basically layer the sushi itself, so that it gives like a green texture, like a dragon on the outside. Then I take sriracha mayonnaise, put that over top of it, and then the eel sauce as well, and then top that off with salmon eggs.
Huh. Got it all figured out.
Yeah,
Mexican food. Pretty legit. Yeah, man, you can't argue with a good burrito.
Or nachos, man, or nachos.
I don't know, I think there's a time and a place for nachos, but if I was to go for a meal, I would want like a chicken fajita, like a big one, just wrapped up nice, sauce with some spice in it with the rice, chicken, lettuce, tomato, onions, cucumber.
Yeah. This is probably the worst thing in the world to say in a Latin American clan war organization, but I hate Mexican food.
Why? It's so good.
Well, I hate what Americans call Mexican food. and I think that may be a product of me living in the South United States of America. I've heard that real food in Latin countries is a hell of a lot better than what we claim is Latin food. So I'd be interested to try it if I was ever in the actual country. But this like Americanized Mexican food, like Taco Bell and Mazatlan and the restaurants you find around here, is vomit worthy. I'm sorry, there's just no other way to put that out there.